Welcome everybody to our live coverage of the 2025 Carabao Cup Final, live from Wembley Stadium, which is in a state of high excitement. The first silverware of the season will be won today. Is that famous three-handled trophy heading to Anfield, or is it heading to St James Park? This is the 65th EFL Cup Final, the 52nd to be played here. It was first won over two legs back in 1961. Aston Villa beat Rotherham. It was last won, of course, by Liverpool as they beat Chelsea here in extra time last year. So can Liverpool retain the cup and win it for the 11th time, or can Newcastle, backed by these incredible fans, runners-up in 2023, win it for the very first time? It is a wonderful occasion on a bright, sunny but chilly northwest London afternoon. Really nothing could be better, and Matt Upson is alongside me today. Matt, the stage is set. Fantastic occasion, fantastic sense of excitement about what is to come between two sides who on their day are very, very good indeed.
That's absolutely right. Good afternoon, Stephen. Yes, whenever Newcastle are in town, there is a buzz around Wembley Stadium. Walk into the ground, you can just see the excitement, you feel it in and around Wembley. Two very passionate sets of supporters. Hopefully we're in for just as much passion on the pitch today, and a top final would be really good.
Well, one of these managers is going to be lifting a major trophy in English football for the first time. Eddie Howe and Arne Slot, Newcastle United and Liverpool shoulder to shoulder in the famous Wembley tunnel, and when they walk there will be a crescendo of noise as they come out into this crucible of a stadium, a melting pot out of which one will emerge a winner and the other a disappointed runner-up. So much experience and talent on both sides. Liverpool with recent experience of trophy winning, which is exactly what Newcastle lack in their recent history. But could this be Newcastle's day? Well, I'm sure the hairs are standing up on the back of their necks. Whatever you've won, whatever you've done, this is special. The Newcastle support does not end with the tens of thousands inside the stadium. There are many, many more thousands outside the stadium. Just want to be somewhere around Wembley on the day when they believe their trophy drought will end. Well, as always, before a major cup final, there are the formalities to be gone through with the senior management team of Carabao and the EFL chair Rick Parry coming along to meet the participants of both sides. Matt Upson, Liverpool went out of the Champions League in midweek. Psychologically, is that hard to bounce back from?
Yes, I think is the answer, but if I'm honest, coming into this environment and this final, there's no better way to forget that disappointment. There really isn't, and I think they'll just feed off this atmosphere and the opportunity to win the first trophy of the season.
And Newcastle, of course, the lack of a trophy has weighed heavy for many years. They didn't really show up in the final a couple of years ago. Could that actually help them today?
You'd like to think so. I mean, for me, Newcastle is just about turn up here today and play with freedom. If you do that, you'll give the best account of yourself possible and you might just win it. We saw a couple of years ago they were just within themselves and didn't quite do themselves justice. There's nothing worse than that. So today they want to put that right.
And there is their star man, Alexander Isak. Well, the national anthem will be sung by Kane Matthews.
gracious King, long live our noble King. God save the King. Send him victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the
Well, one of those old childish, cheesy jokes springs to mind. What's black and white and red all over? The 2025 Carabao Cup final between Liverpool and Newcastle. So let's check out the starting lineups then, shall we? Starting with Arne Slot's Liverpool side, led, of course, by their captain, Virgil van Dijk, and selected by coach Arne Slot. Well, there are a couple of changes to the 11 which started that Champions League game against Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday. Trent Alexander-Arnold got injured in that game. Conor Bradley and Joe Gomez, their other right-backs, are also injured. So there is no fit recognised right-back in Liverpool's ranks. That means that Jarell Quansah will play there. Quiveen Kelleher is in goal rather than the Brazilian Alisson. And of course, Kelleher has history in this competition. All good history. Liverpool against Newcastle. That's their 11. So let's have a look at the Newcastle side. Eddie Howe has selected this side. Anthony Gordon is suspended after his red card against Brighton in the FA Cup. Sven Botman's injured at the back. That's big for them, potentially big loss. This is the same 11 which started the win on Monday night on the other side of London at West Ham United, a Premier League game in which they emerged 1-0 winners. So they're the protagonists. And Joe Linton offers prayers. They met in the Premier League not so very long ago. Liverpool ran out quite comfortable winners actually at Anfield. This is a totally different occasion. Newcastle on the brink of history, maybe. Liverpool on the brink of yet another EFL Cup triumph. Not easy to pick a winner. Liverpool the favourites, Matt, but what I would say is, having seen the Newcastle performance against Arsenal over 2 legs in the semi-final, particularly the first leg at the Emirates, and they were absolutely outstanding. If they can be as brave today as they were there, if Isak can play today as he did then, Liverpool will have a big game on their hands.
He's the key weapon, isn't he? And I also think the midfield three is going to be a brilliant battle this afternoon in that centre of the park. Who takes control of the middle of the pitch is really going to be a defining situation in this game. And Newcastle's three, you'd have to say there isn't much to choose between them and Liverpool. It's going to be a really tight battle in there.
There's the Liverpool huddle. Mohamed Salah left Anfield in tears on Tuesday night as Paris Saint-Germain knocked them out of the Champions League. Very different emotions today, he hopes. The referee for the 2025 Carabao Cup final is John Brooks, assisted by Eddie Smart and Nick Greenhalgh. Darren England is the fourth official. Stuart Atwell is the video assistant referee. We do have goal line technology, we do have VAR, and we most certainly have two very, very good football sides. It will be Liverpool to get this final underway, kicking from right to left in the first 45 minutes, attacking the goal behind which the Newcastle supporters are ranked in their thousands. Jarell Quansah getting an early touch of the ball, not his familiar position, Matt Upson, and it's going to be a big afternoon maybe for Quansah. Young man still, but with plenty of games under his belt.
I mean, you would think that would be an area of the field that Newcastle will want to exploit. I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold isn't really known for his defensive qualities. He's all about what he does with the ball that makes him stand out. But Harvey Barnes also not had too much football this season. It'd been really interesting if Anthony Gordon could have been involved here this afternoon.
It's a free kick to Newcastle, who have full-back problems of their own, of course, with Lewis Hall being injured, so Livramento is on the left side of their defence. Naturally, probably a right-back. His responsibility is to try and tie up Mohamed Salah.
Quite a responsibility, but doable, having watched PSG in the week.
Absolutely, Nuno Mendes did it brilliantly. Trippier with his free kick for Newcastle. Mohamed Salah with the little flick on. Sandro Tonali is there. Szoboszlai getting a boot in. Murphy's forward ball, comfortable for Robertson. Newcastle have themselves a throw-in. Trippier taking. Forward by Fabian Schär, making Robertson twist. Murphy in behind him, Murphy's ball in, Van Dijk got a little bit on it. Cleared away by Alexis McAllister, and Dominic Szoboszlai can bring his energy to Liverpool's midfield.
There's that midfield battle, isn't it? Szoboszlai's going to play a bit more of a number 10. Will that help Newcastle in terms of just the numbers when the ball's dropping loose?
Luis Diaz. Well defended. And a free kick to Newcastle as he just touched Trippier to the ground.
It was just a touch as well, wasn't it? I think Trippier using all of his experience in that area just to win that foul. Take the pressure out of the moment.
Well, Arne Slot's first season in English football has been remarkable. Nick Pope referred to Dubravka today. It was almost a coin toss, I guess, the decision between those two. They both played a few games recently, shared the duties. Murphy's ball, that's a really good ball into the penalty area. Harvey Barnes attacked it, didn't quite get the touch he was looking for. Lovely ball, Murphy.
I mean, such a surprise player this season for Newcastle, Murphy. He's been in excellent form twice already. He just wants to get his head up and put the ball in the box. I think it's a real message of intent. Newcastle aren't going to try and be clever in wide areas and dribble pass and stop and start. They're going to get their head up, put the ball in as early as possible. When you've got a striker of Isak's quality and movement, you just want to get the ball in there.
Kelleher's clearance took one bounce and went out of play. Well, Anthony Gordon possesses qualities that Harvey Barnes probably doesn't have, but Barnes is still going to be a test for Kwanzaa. Newcastle have started this game brightly.
And you can tell already the mentality and the feel of the Newcastle team is different.
That'll be a free kick. It was a lovely little run forward by Livramento.
And McAllister feels like he was just standing his ground here. Livramento with all the momentum. There is a right leg that just comes out from McAllister. He doesn't really move into Livramento, but he has the momentum into the challenge.
Very positive start from Eddie Howe's side. So every red jersey behind this free kick. Dan Burn is the obvious target, called up to the England squad this week. Played short, Tonali with a little ball back into the box. This is Harvey Barnes, clever free kick. And Gravenberch there to concede the corner.
That's a great free kick. Doesn't they quite make the most of it, if I'm honest. Lovely piece of interchange here. Plays it short, catches everyone out. Then the 1-2 with Tonali. Just that touch there from Harvey Barnes, sent him a little bit wide on his left foot, so we couldn't quite get the quality of the cross into the box.
So Trippier with the first corner kick of the cup final. Kelleher got something on it, not a huge amount. McAllister away, back in by Tino Livramento, Soboslai, and Luis Diaz. Wasn't the worst idea, but Nick Pope made a very early start to collect that.
It was some spot from Diaz though, wasn't it? Like you said, great idea to just have the vision to know where to put that ball.
Robertson blocked off by Kieran Trippier, and it's a Liverpool free kick. Trippier saying he ran into me. John Brooks says otherwise.
Well, it looked like he had a point, to be honest. I mean, what a start to the game, real fiery position. I think Trippier's entitled to stand his ground there. It's more the pressure from behind from Tonali, I think, that made it look a little bit clumsy. So John Brooks blew for the foul.
Well, it's a free kick which Robertson and McAllister are scheming for Liverpool. Van Dijk is lurking. It's in by McAllister, and the change of angle, I think, was intended to deceive, but it didn't work.
A little bit too deep, wasn't it? The free kick, the angle of the ball straight into the goalkeeper. No Liverpool player anywhere near it. But both teams settled in nicely, haven't they?
Yeah. Bodes well. Here's Murphy. Already one very good ball into the Liverpool penalty area under his belt. Bruno Guimaraes here. Joe Linton. Luis Diaz. McAllister. Gravenberch, or Salah is going to give it a go and can't quite get there. But he appreciated the attempt.
The thumb up of an acknowledgement. Gravenberch's trying to hit a really flat ball, skipping off the Wembley surface that looks immaculate, actually. It's a lovely, calm day inside Wembley. Not a lot of breeze, pretty cool in the air, perfect conditions for football.
So Pope with the clearance. Powerful header from Van Dijk. We might have lost pictures from Wembley for a moment. I will continue with the commentary. Ibrahima Konate. Here's Queen Kelleher for Liverpool. Jota. Dan Burns clearing header. Ibrahima Konate. Mohamed Salah. Burn is with him. Salah hoping to play it off. Dan Burn didn't quite manage it.
That was good from Burn, just getting out of position. He's going to have to get out wide quite a lot today. It's never the most comfortable place for a centre-back to be, but he's got to support Livramento in those 1v1s with Salah.
Newcastle have been awarded a free kick here. Kieran Trippier is trotting over to take this. The first 10 minutes of this final have been very evenly matched. Maybe Newcastle have just edged it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, to be honest. And I think, you know, they're taking their time here. They've obviously got a plan with these set plays to apply pressure to Liverpool. They've got good height in the team.
There's Liverpool fans watching this Newcastle free kick as it's driven into Cher. Kelleher knew that that had gone wide of his post, and it was always going to.
I mean, it's really ambitious, actually, for for Shah, who technically, actually, this season has shown he's a pretty good centre-back in terms of contact with the ball, scored a few goals as well. But this is a hard one on the volley.
Alexis McAllister was felled by Dan Burn in all of that. He's back on his feet and he's okay. Kwanzaa, Soboslai, Konate. Ryan Gravenberg's forward ball. Diogo Jota trying to get there. Fabien Cher beat him to it. Kwanzaa with this throw. Cher for Newcastle, and Trippier. Took the wind out of Luis Diaz. Cody Gakpo is amongst the Liverpool substitutes today. He is actually the top scorer in the EFL Cup this season with 5, 16 in all competitions for the season.
Well,
that injury has just affected him recently, hasn't it?
It's so impressive, isn't it? I mean, he's a player that has been in sparkling form, actually, when he's been fit and available. And you're right, the injuries have really slowed him up and affected Liverpool as well, because I think he's a super player.
Robertson for Liverpool. McAllister, blocked by Trippier. He was one of those who really shone over the 2 legs in the semi-final victory over Arsenal, Kieran Trippier. Joe Linton's header. Bruno Guimaraes. Oh, that's a lovely ball, quite cut out by Virgil van Dijk. Murphy. Sandro Tonali here. It was definitely a shirt pull. The referee John Brooks has said go on. Well, it clearly was a shirt pull.
It was right on the borderline, wasn't it? Was it too much? I think he was close to giving a foul. There was a little bit of a handful of a shirt there. You can see just stretching from the body.
Kwanzaa. Salah. Deflecting. Oh, it's a good challenge by Ryan Gravenberg, that. The flag has gone up. It's going to be a free kick to Newcastle for offside. Gravenberg flew into that on Bruno Guimaraes, who really felt it, but I think he won it cleanly.
Yeah, he took the opportunity, didn't he? Blocks the ball, but then there was a real collision afterwards. I think it's a big game, this, for Guimaraes. You know, it's been talked about a lot of being a top player, being a player that can go to the next level of the game. Eddie Howe and Newcastle really enjoying his performances this season, but this is a big stage for him to really showcase his skills against the top team. Can he come out on top today?
Dan Burn. John Linton tussling with Gravenberg. Play goes on. John Brooks letting it go. Kwanzaa into a very strong challenge. The ball is squirted away. And here's Murphy holding off Luis Diaz and getting right underneath the shot.
Well, it was there to be hit. Early on in the game, he's high on confidence, gets it out of his feet. Just got to hit the target. This was the tackle moments earlier.
Strong, wasn't it?
Wholehearted, shall we say. Kwanzaa with his full body weight behind it. I think whenever you dangle the foot in there like Livramento trying to nick the ball, you run the risk of hurting yourself. Thankfully, he's up on his feet.
Van Dijk has scored the winning goal in this final last season at that end that Liverpool are defending in the first half here. Robertson's clearance was well anticipated by Trippier. Murphy with a no-look back heel, which went straight to McAllister. Gravenberg.
Didn't need to complicate it there, Jacob Murphy. Just either be direct, put it in the box, or find your pass. It's a good position for Newcastle.
McAllister. Here is Salah. Konate patiently for Salah. Van Dijk. Liverpool have edged slowly upfield. They have plenty of bodies up there. McAllister holding off Bruno Guimaraes, who got a bit of a touch. Joel Linton took it away from him. Tonali running into Szoboszlai, and the referee John Brooks has decided that he didn't like McAllister's challenge on Joel Linton enough to decide he's going to stop playing. It's a free kick to Newcastle.
Well, he just stamps on his foot here in that tackle. I mean, both players going for the ball. It's easy just to misjudge it a little bit, but Harvey Barnes have made a brilliant burst forward. The moment that ball turned over, I think both Newcastle wide players will look to hit Liverpool in behind the fullbacks. Barnes made a brilliant run, but Tonali just couldn't get his head up and see him.
First half of this season, Liverpool just looked like a steamroller as Joel Linton tries to sneak in behind between Gravenberg and Quansah. Livramento for Sandro Tonali. Still need to get it back into Joel Linton. That's deflected, and as Kelleher's. You'd have to say that Liverpool probably in the, maybe from Christmas, New Year onwards, have not been quite so majestic as they were before. They've had a stutter here and there.
It's probably as expected over most league seasons, isn't it, that you hit that point sometimes where it doesn't quite go right for you. It really has been a stutter, hasn't it? It's nothing more than that.
It is more than likely that they will be Premier League winners this season. The question is, can they do a League and Cup double? Robertson. Trippier watching this carefully and guiding it expertly back to Pope.
Well, he started brilliantly, Kieran Trippier. Newcastle are going to have to play well to win this game. We know that. The fullback started really well, reading the game, being very comfortable in his decision-making.
Van Dijk to McAllister.
Liverpool really struggling to get Szoboszlai into the game, aren't they? He's very high, almost alongside Jota when the midfield have the ball.
McAllister. He's got an incredible engine, Dominic Szoboszlai. Here's Salah. The Hungarian is ahead of him, and here he is, Dan Burn coming across. He squeezed it past Burn, but Fabian Schär there ahead of Diogo Jota.
He's having to work incredibly hard to get that space, Szoboszlai. Newcastle with that midfield three. Joe Linton a lot of the time just dropping over and picking up the space where Szoboszlai is, so he can't have the ball.
That's a nice ball into Diogo Jota, the little cushion header. Just fell short of Luis Diaz, and here's Murphy. Nice little dig ball into Bruno Guimaraes, holding off Ryan Gravenberg and deflecting off Virgil van Dijk. And Newcastle have another corner, 20 played, 0-0 at Wembley.
And he uses his body so well there, Bruno Guimaraes. He knows Graben Birch, he's probably got the legs on him to get past him, but he just keeps slowing up and getting his body in the way, doesn't allow him to make the tackle, and then looking for Isak.
Newcastle last beat Liverpool in December of 2015. They've met 17 times since. 5 draws and 12 Liverpool wins. Murphy with this corner. Shot to Isak, and it's a foul on Diogo Jota.
Oh, missed opportunity for me. Get the ball in the box. I mean, you're working on a short free kick. Jota really does press it hard.
Some famous Newcastle United supporters in the crowd. TV presenters Anton Deck. And the cheer from the Newcastle fans is because Alan Shearer's image is also on the big screen inside the stadium. They've had some very good number 9s through their long history, Newcastle United, but maybe none better than him. Even Milburn wore Jackie from years ago. Van Dijk's header, Szoboszlai can't get onto it. Dan Burn, here's Van Dijk. Jota. Still interested in this Jota, that's excellent from Trippier. Calmly done.
I mean, he's been exactly what Newcastle have needed, Kieran Trippier really has. Very calm and steady. And what has been a very good start to the game, both teams looking comfortable, and very assured with how they're approaching the game.
Liverpool throw-in, midway through the first half of the 2025 Carabao Cup final. Quansah, nicely done. Away from Barnes, still carrying it. Can't quite find Jota. Tonali stepped in for Newcastle. That's Konate's header. Barnes with a little 1-2 with Isak, and Isak just forced wide a little bit by the Barnes pass. But he's done well to pick out Sandro Tonali. Tonali's shot! Well, it had Kelleher moving to his left-hand side swiftly. Eddie Howe liked it.
Well, gets a little clap from the manager. I think Barnes should really go here. Go at Van Dijk, commit him. You're central, he really has to force Isak wide. They recycled the ball really well to get the shooting opportunity, but I just felt Barnes had that moment as he was driving at Van Dijk. That's when you just go for it, really try and commit him on the edge of his own box.
Liverpool have been awarded a free kick here. Could be some week for him, couldn't it? An England call-up and then a Wembley win, who knows? Dan Burn, that is.
Yeah, I mean, brilliant moment to get the call-up, isn't it? And you know, he's been chipping away at this a while. I'm really pleased for him, actually. He's had an excellent season, and to be included in that squad at this stage in his career is really positive for him.
Trippier again with a perfectly directed header back to his goalkeeper, and immediately making himself an option for Pope to use. That's a good ball, Murphy. Isak arriving in the middle, Konate. It's a corner.
Wow, Isak is just shouting at Murphy. Look at his expression. He knows he doesn't need this delay here, Jacob Murphy. The moment that ball goes over the top, as he gets his head up, it has to go now. That little hesitation there gives Konate the chance to get back in. If he sticks it in earlier, Isak knows he's got the run on him.
I think Murphy was in an offside position when he received that pass. Had it been a goal, it would have been ruled out.
Yeah,
but it
tight.
wasn't. So Newcastle have a corner from which they might score. Trippier with it, looking for Dan Burn. Burns' header into a dangerous area. Bruno Guimaraes is smothered by Krivine Kelleher, good goalkeeper.
And that's what you call proactive goalkeeping, coming out and dealing with the situation. Burn the target again is a mismatch with McAllister, but that's really good to come out and smother right at the feet.
Now Liverpool with Jota and Luis Diaz. McAllister looking for Mohamed Salah. Livramento got his head on it. Harvey Barnes' header is going to give Liverpool a throw-in. Haven't tested Pope at all yet, Liverpool. Van Dijk. Oh, Quansah with the error. Isak onto it. Konate recovering very well. Quansah will be relieved.
Well, that was a heart-in-mouth moment, wasn't it? Really looked like Isak was going to just steal the ball and get in on goal. It was a good turn of acceleration from Konate to get back.
So he hasn't really got into the game yet.
None of the attacking players have for Liverpool, really, have they? Diaz, already mentioned, Szoboszlai's working hard, but not finding any space, or Liverpool aren't finding the pass into him.
Burns' header out to play. Liverpool have a throw-in.
What's it going to be like here if they win, Steve?
Well, somebody said the other week Eddie Howe could pick which spot of the city of Newcastle upon Tyne he'd like his statue to be.
Yeah.
Luis Diaz getting forward. It's a foul by Kieran Trippier on Liverpool's number 7. It is extraordinary that Newcastle, a club of their stature, have won nothing since 1969. They've won no domestic trophy since the FA Cup of 1955, 70 years. One of their failures came in Wembley Stadium 51 years ago in an FA Cup final against Liverpool, when a certain Malcolm McDonald talked big going into the final and they were 3-0 losers. Here's Salah. And Liverpool have a corner, it's their first of the game.
You don't really hear people talking big into finals anymore, do you? It's almost a sure thing that it's not going to go well, so keep your thoughts to yourself, I think, is the message. And Newcastle have been confident in this game, I will say. They haven't had to say anything. They've actually got on the pitch and they've started this game, opening 28 minutes. They've given a really good account of themselves.
Approaching the half hour, Liverpool's first corner. Robertson with the delivery. Joe Linton climbing highest. It'll come back to Liverpool's left back, and that's flipped out of play for a throw-in. Played by Murphy. Francis throw to Szoboszlai, and here is Konate. Picked off beautifully by Livramento, got himself in front of Mohamed Salah. Murphy is definitely onside here, but Van Dijk's covering.
A lovely cushion header as well from Van Dijk.
And that's a great ball. Luis Diaz, Pope has come. Well, the referee, John Brooks, gives a free kick to Newcastle because Luis Diaz was offside. And that was an early decision from the keeper.
Well, Pope didn't know he was offside. Brilliant tackle. I mean, it is comfortably offside, isn't it, when you see the replay, but Pope's not ready to know that. He times that brilliantly. It's good work from the keeper.
He's been bothered by knee problems this season, has Nick Pope. allowing Martin Dubravka really to impress in his stead. And of course, you'll remember in the Carabao Cup final of 2023 against Manchester United, when they lost, they had terrible problems in goal because Pope was injured. Dubravka was cup-tied, having had a 2-game loan spell at Manchester United. Loris Karius played his one and only game for the club. That's a corner off Gravenberch.
That's great from Tonali. Didn't give that up for 1 second. Fighting for the ball, ends up winning the corner.
Corner kick to Newcastle.
It's interesting, McAllister on Dan Burn, isn't it?
Trippier looking to deliver, Van Dijk away, Sandro Tonali. Trippier, Burn is still in there, Kelleher came. And he's such a great target, Dan Burn, 6'7" of him.
I mean, I know McAllister's in there, in and around his feet, just to try and block his movement and stop him building up any momentum to the ball, but you know, the big headers of the ball for Liverpool want to come and win it, but still, I feel with someone like Dan Burn, you might need to get somebody in and around him like a Van Dijk just to deal with him.
Here's Jota, McAllister. The whistle has gone. Referee's going to have a word with Kieran Trippier here.
Diaz gets up really high, early leap to head the ball, and Trippier, I don't think he does too much wrong, he just brings his body in and bumps in mid-air, but obviously when you're in mid-air you've got no control on how you land, and lands a bit awkwardly, Diaz.
Well, Bruno Guimaraes, as Newcastle's captain, is trying to intercede on Trippier's behalf. John Brooks is going to leave it as a talking to and no more.
Yeah. Just a little bump in the air, isn't it? I think Trippier can handle himself with the referee. He's got enough experience in that.
Van Dijk clipping it into Robertson, who tried to knock it first time past Trippier. It flicked back off the Liverpool man, and it is a goal kick to Newcastle. It's only the third time these two clubs have ever met in the EFL Cup, which is a little bit surprising. It's been a remarkable seamless transition from clock to slot. Barnes for Newcastle. Harvey Barnes has done well here. Isak at the back post, Robertson with a block. Trippier! It's gone behind off Luis Diaz.
That's a nice embrace as well. Both full-backs really appreciating each other's game. But this is a chance. Pulls off brilliantly, Isak, drifts the ball to the back post with the cross, and that is a really good block. I think it might be just off the heel or the backside of Robinson, but he doesn't hit that with some power, Kieran Trippier.
There is no doubt, approaching the last 10 minutes of this first half, that Newcastle have had the better of it. Trippier's driven corner, down Burns, powerful header was flicked on. Oh, Bruno Guimaraes got a little bit on that, not enough to divert it away from Kelleher. Was it Guimaraes or was it Dan Burn?
It was Burn with the header.
Yeah.
And Guimaraes tries to flick it, or maybe it's Shah in there, isn't it? But that is the problem when you have McAllister in and around Dan Burn. If it gets drifted high in the air like that, there's only one winner, and winning that first contact means he can head it down into those bodies, and then anything can happen, any little touch, or it can fall at the feet of a Newcastle player, and you're in big trouble if you're Liverpool.
It was Bruno Guimaraes who got a little flick on it, but comfortable enough for Kelleher. Here's Tonali.
Well, he's been getting in the box a lot lately, actually, Guimaraes. I mean, ghosted in and scored the winner at West Ham on Monday.
Yes. Yep.
He's got a licence to get forward, certainly on set plays or crosses.
It was only his third goal of the season, that winner at the London Stadium. We're into the last 10 minutes of the first half of this final. It's a foul by Szoboszlai on Joe Linton. Two very evenly matched midfields, aren't they?
Very, very, and I really like at the moment, the balance of the Newcastle one is working out very well. I think Guimaraes can get forward, Tonali can drop and hold. I mean, he can kind of do a little bit of everything, Tonali. He's been really impressive since coming back into the team this season. But Liverpool haven't had too much to shout about in this first half at all. I'm looking at their fans behind the goal, and it's been very quiet in the Liverpool end.
Trippier's delivery. Van Dijk with the clearing header. This is Murphy scooping it back in. Fabian Schär up by Alexis McAllister. Szoboszlai up to Salah. Murphy's header, has it got the legs to reach Pope? Well, Pope came in, got his head on it, did well. Schär's there. And it's fallen all right for Newcastle.
Yeah, that is great reading of the game from Van Dijk there, I have to say. He knew that ball was going to go over his head, and he just dropped into the space so quickly.
Bruno Guimaraes. Jarell Quansah, here's Salah. Quansah continuing his run. Joe Linton chasing. And dispossessing Jarell Quansah. That's brilliant play. Outstanding play. Free kick's been given to Newcastle, and Joe Linton celebrates his tackle as well, he might.
I'm not too sure the Newcastle fans need any more motivation to get loud here. They're enjoying this first half. He does so well to get his body back in. I mean, Quansah showed a lovely burst of pace, I have to say. Once he got on the run, it looked like he was going to go past Joe Linton, but the Newcastle man got back in, done his job. He doesn't half-cover that part of the pitch well from that left side of the midfield. I know we talk about him as a forward player, but what he does defensively, getting back in the full-back areas, is absolutely brilliant.
Maybe just with a little tweak.
Yeah. That's worrying.
Yeah. Well, Nick Pope with the long clearance away downfield. An awkward fall by Konate onto the top of Joe Linton. And two Newcastle players down here, and a Liverpool man between them, Sandro Tonali, Dominic Szoboszlai and Joe Linton.
There's Konate on Joe Linton, and then a bit of a clash of heads, I think, between Guimaraes. There's the first one. It's just a bit of a collision, but then Tonali and Szoboszlai compete for this loose ball. They just collide heads right here. We're looking at Trippier, just holding and feeling that hamstring. That won't be good news in the full-back position. I suppose Target's on the bench, isn't he? And
Emil Kraft could be a possibility.
Yeah. Livramento could shift over to the right side, but you'd want to keep Livramento over with Salah. He's had a good start to this game. He's kept Salah very quiet so far. You wouldn't want to change that if you were Eddie Howe.
Started his managerial career more than 16 years ago now, Eddie Howe. That's a third of his lifetime. Pinged by Szoboszlai, trying to test Trippier. And Luis Diaz almost took it away from Trippier there. Diaz was appealing for handball as Trippier clears away downfield. It's Joe Linton finding Isak. Good intervention from Robertson. The appeal for handball by Luis Diaz has been looked at by the video assistant referee Stuart Atwell and checked and cleared, no foul.
The ball just bounces up here and clips the fingers right there. Kieran Trippier, accidental as his body's in a natural state of motion. That right hand comes out, he just grazes his fingers.
That ball from Trippier just deflected off Luis Diaz to Alexis McAllister. Gravenberg. Jota poked through to Luis Diaz. Trippier's done well.
Great position from Trippier, even if the ball gets there. I mean, he hasn't stopped stretching his hamstring. He doesn't look like he's feeling 100% at all, but that was great positioning from him to dart back in, get his body in position.
Konate. Might have been a little push by Tonali on Szoboszlai there, but play goes on. Barnes is making a run. Shea
Great ball
into Livramento. Scooped in, that's a decent ball, just full to Isak. Robertson was there.
There's been a game so far of good full-back defending. Robertson's turn this time, just to tuck in and get his body in the right place. It was a lovely switch of play from Fabian Schär. Created the opportunity, but the Liverpool full-back takes a great position, just stops Isak attacking that one at the back post.
Isak 22 goals this season, Mohamed Salah 32 goals this season. Not seen either of them get much representing or even close to an opportunity yet. Tino Livramento. Harvey Barnes. Does a really good job in there. Liverpool's Dutch midfielder, Ryan Gravenberg. Joe Linton. Van Dijk's header, Tonali cushioned into the path of Bruno Guimaraes. Here's Murphy. It's not a great ball by Murphy, and Barnes couldn't retrieve it.
And he gets his head straight up to put it in the box again though, Jacob Murphy.
Steven Gerrard watching from on high, played in a few of these finals for Liverpool. Ian Rush just behind Kenny Dalglish in their playing days. He was normally just in front of him. They had a telepathic understanding, those two. Liverpool won this trophy 4 seasons running in the early 80s when Dalglish and Rush were in their pomp. Newcastle have a free kick. We are into the last minute of normal time in the first half. Trippier's ball into the edge of the penalty area. It's come to Barnes, it's deflected off Konate. And this half is going to end with Newcastle on the front foot.
Well, Dan Burn making a nuisance of himself again with that challenge. Doesn't allow Van Dijk to get any real height or distance on the clearance, and it falls at the feet of Barnes.
So is there to be a breakthrough, a twist right before half-time? Newcastle's corner, driven in, swerving away to Burn. It's a good header, it's in! Dan Burn puts Newcastle in front. Newcastle's giant defender, Geordie through and through, heads anyhow side in front in the last seconds of the first half. They've been the better side, and now they have the lead. Newcastle 1, Liverpool 0.
Wow, what a week for Dan Burn. What a moment for Newcastle. Absolutely fully deserved in this first half. They've been the better team, and we've already seen on several occasions Dan Burn getting the better. McAllister has the responsibility of marking him. That matchup doesn't make sense to me, and the moment he gets that opportunity, he gets a run, a free header, but boy, does he head that with real precision and power. It is absolutely spot on. He heads it down into the corner, ball zipping off the turf, and what a moment for Newcastle.
Newcastle lead in the final. Right at the end of the half, we have a breakthrough. Jota advancing for Liverpool. Murphy came off Diaz.
And I just don't get how you can leave McAllister with him. There was 2 or 3 warning shots there for Liverpool. Newcastle looking at Burn as a target every time. If he could free himself and get that kind of situation, he's always going to win the ball.
Well, they're good value for the lead. It's Tonali running into Gravenberch, and it's swept away by Fabian Schär, and Isak sees the ball beat into the byline. We're into the last minute of added time at the end of the first half, and Arne Slot has some talking to do.
Would you say Liverpool a little bit flat? I don't think they've really got into their rhythm. Big disappointment in the week, a lot of physical and emotional energy into that game, and they haven't been at their best here today yet.
Here's Joel Linton, given to McAllister. Mohamed Salah. Liverpool have red shirts flying forward here. Salah outside of the boot. Luis Diaz and Jota, and it's come off Fabian Schär, has it? No, it's a goal kick. That's probably Liverpool's best chance of the half.
I agree. Probably best moment for them to score. Little outside of the boot ball from Salah, just marginally out with the accuracy.
John Brooks has blown his whistle. Dan Burn is enjoying quite a week. England squad member, Wembley goal scorer. Half-time, Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 0. Well,
That won't happen in real life, guys. Okay, that was fantasy. This is reality. Up the two!
Here's the back, the first half.
Everything all right?
Yes, thank you, mate. Thank you. It was good to see the females build up at Leicester. So welcome back. There is the goal scorer, Dan Burn. Newcastle born, Newcastle bred, now Newcastle hero. They lead by 1-0 coming into the second half of the 2025 Carabao Cup final. And Matt Upson, you called it, you said 6'7". Alexis McAllister marking him. A recipe for trouble.
It spelt trouble, didn't it? I mean, I didn't call the quality of the bullet header, I have to say. He had a lot to do, Dan Burn, but he did it well. He really punched it down off the turf into the corner. It was a fantastic header and a great moment for him.
No changes from either side at half-time. It will be Newcastle in the black and white striped jerseys, kicking from right to left in the second half. Liverpool looking for a bit more inspiration, a bit more energy, a bit of a lift. Trailing by 1-0. Murphy losing out to Luis Diaz. Robertson for Konate, under pressure immediately from Harvey Barnes. Kelleher to Ryan Gravenberg, who was under a bit of pressure there from Tonali. It's a brilliant header again. Look how far that's gone.
It's a serious bit of distance, isn't it? Free header though for him. He's already shown he's got some power in that forehead. He certainly showed it there.
Luis Diaz with a little flick. Fabian Schär seemed to be pulling Diogo Jota back there, and Liverpool striker is complaining to John Brooks about that, but it wasn't given.
It'll be interesting if we do see a real reaction from Liverpool. What Arne Slot would have said to them at half-time, trying to lift his team that undoubtedly were flat in that first half. They really were, didn't create a lot, didn't have too much energy in the game.
Virgil van Dijk here for Liverpool. Robertson scampering down the touchline. That's Jota instead. It was a good ball. Nice pull back too. Luis Diaz was arriving. Joel Linton was covering, and the Newcastle man got there first. Just.
Well, it's top cover. Such an important position he took up there, Joe Linton. Really read the danger.
Here's Alexis McAllister for Liverpool, finding Virgil van Dijk. Konate into Luis Diaz. Mohamed Salah. Gravenberg. It's intended for McAllister, but was never going to find him. Super defending.
Well, you just have to admire the way he reads it and the work rate for Joe Linton there. I mean, Luis Diaz has got no clue he's coming back, and he's celebrating those interceptions like he scored a goal, and I get that. I really do. I mean, it means a lot, and it really does lift the crowd, but super reading of the game from the Newcastle midfield player.
Pope's forward ball. Deflected to Luis Diaz. He's in a bit of trouble here. He thought that he was fouled. Trippier has found Murphy. Murphy tries to find Isak. It's come back to Jacob Murphy. Didn't have to break stride. Van Dijk there again. Szoboszlai. really clicked those front three yet for Liverpool. Good distribution that from Pope to Tino Livramento. Barnes is moving ahead of him. Harvey Barnes with real purpose here. And put behind by Gerald Quansah. It's a Newcastle corner though.
Well, let's see how they set up. Will McAllister be in and around Dan Burn, or will they change plans, Liverpool, in the way that they defend this? It looks like they're going to set up pretty similar in that zonal system.
Yeah, there's the goal scorer, there's the threat, and there, not much taller than Dan Burn's ribcage, is the man who's marking him. Trippier's delivery, Joe Linton around the back, on Keller with a save, 2-0! Flags up, won't count, Isak thought he'd scored. It will be checked, but Eddie Smart's flag is up. The on-field decision is that it's no goal.
Well, I think it's going to be really tight. I mean, look how that goes in there. It looks to me like Gravenberch is playing him on. I mean,
this is very, very tight indeed. Is Ryan Gravenberch playing Isak onside? The lines have been drawn and the goal will not stand.
Wow, that looks super tight. Look at Gravenberch's position there. Isak in and around that level. I mean, it wasn't much in it at all. And it was Dan Burn again with the touch on the goal. I mean, McAllister now, the way he was setting up marking there, for me, he's got to be careful. He doesn't give a penalty away, McAllister. I mean, you cannot turn your back on the ball.
He's not looking at the ball at all.
He's just looking to grapple him.
No.
And if he's not careful, he's going to give a penalty away. And here's the replay of it. There's the touch from Burn. I think it's the second touch off his knee that they would have gone off, because it kind of hits his foot and then off the back knee of Dan Burn. And from this angle, it looks a lot tighter, but I think when you get along that line, it's probably a couple of inches offside. Exactly what Eddie Howe's saying, an inch or so.
And I was sure it wasn't the position of Bruno Guimaraes in Kelleher's eye line as before the ball got to Isak.
Maybe.
Anyway, it's no goal. It's Livramento for Harvey Barnes. Tino Livramento again. Here's a test. It's Isak out. Here's a goal. They won't rule that one out. Alexander Isak. Newcastle United have won absolutely nothing since 1969. They are 2-0 up in the Carabao Cup final of 2025.
Alexander Isak's finishing is one of the highest percentages in the Premier League this season for a reason. And you see it right here. What a lovely finish from the Newcastle front man. The way he takes this opportunity on the half volley, it's absolutely superb.
They cannot believe what they're seeing.
Oh, Livramento with the overlap really gets into that position too easily. Konate has to come out. It then leaves them 2 for 2, and the anticipation from Isak with the header down from Murphy. Textbook stuff, really, to be honest. Ball to the back post, nodded down, but the finish on the half volley into the corner, absolutely sublime from Isak.
No Newcastle manager has ever come closer than Eddie Howe is right now to breaking this long, decades-long trophy drought. Trippier's header. Fabian Schär with the clearance. Virgil van Dijk for Liverpool. Cushioned neatly by Robertson to Szoboszlai. Robertson. Sarr will have to go and chase and can't reach it.
And I think the really encouraging thing for Newcastle is that Liverpool don't look like they're going to put it together at the moment. They really don't. They've not had a good show of themselves in this game. And Newcastle now have that lovely 2-goal cushion, but in full control as well.
Joe Linton's given it away to Ryan Gravenberch. Alexis McAllister for Ibrahima Konaté. Robertson. I think that's gone off the Liverpool man for a goal kick. It has. Liverpool have changes ready. Curtis Jones is going to be coming on, and Darwin Núñez is going to be coming on.
I mean, I hardly remember talking about Jota or Szoboszlai all game, to be honest, with the ball. Liverpool haven't managed to really get those two players involved.
What scenes. Liverpool have 35 minutes in which to drag themselves back into this EFL Cup final. That's gone out of play off the head of Diogo Jota. And the changes will now be made. That is Jota's last contribution. He'll be replaced by Darwin Núñez. Who famously came on and scored twice for Liverpool at St James's Park in a Premier League game not all that long ago. A match in which Liverpool were down to 10. And Ibrahima Konaté to be replaced by Curtis Jones. That's an interesting one.
It is, isn't it? See what the reshuffle will be. I mean, you've got Quansah on the pitch. Gravenberch looks like he's dropped into that centre-back position, and Curtis Jones gone into midfield for now.
Yeah.
Has that been done before? I can't remember seeing Gravenberch in that position.
I can remember seeing Wataru Endo play in that position, but not Gravenberch.
Not Gravenberch, no. I assumed that Quansah might slide inside, but Gravenberch dropped into the centre-back role.
Dan Burn wins yet another header.
He's having a great afternoon, isn't he? He's really enjoying heading the ball, and this moment for Newcastle, they've got 35 minutes or so to see this game out. What an opportunity.
Virgil van Dijk's forward ball, Livramento with the header finding Barnes. It's a free kick to Newcastle.
They've done all the ugly stuff really well today, Newcastle. All those tackles, getting their body in the way, winning fouls, loose balls, all the scruffy things that win you football matches. They've done it better than Liverpool.
And they are good value for 2-0. Free kick, Trippier to take. Drifting away to Virgil van Dijk. It'll be collected by Murphy. Bruno Guimaraes offside flag has gone up. Well, Newcastle are on cloud now, and those Liverpool fans look very glum indeed. Not least because there is very little sign of Liverpool threatening Newcastle. They may now, as the substitutes come into play maybe. Luis Diaz wired to Dominic Szoboszlai, and it's a brilliant save! Pope over the top from Curtis Jones, Liverpool corner.
An instant impact from the Liverpool substitute, really got Liverpool going here. Lovely build-up play through the midfield, then they've got the overlap, the ball back to him, and that's a great reaction, Nick Pope, because that is travelling that ball. He just wants to hit the target, Jones, with real power, And he does that brilliantly, but look at that, straight off the forearm, great save.
Well, at the moment, Newcastle have a couple of players down inside their own penalty area, whilst Liverpool are waiting to take this corner kick. Bruno Guimaraes is one and Sandro Tonali is the other.
And they were at full stretch here, Newcastle. Guimaraes with the attempted block and Tonali sliding in. Both midfield players collide with each other, and I think that's where the problem is. Tonali gets a foot in the groin.
That save from Nick Pope could be a huge moment in this final. Because Liverpool pull one back there, suddenly the whole thing changes. Newcastle are deflated.
Yeah, I agree. You know, Pope, big question marks with the ball at his feet, but I don't think there's many question marks in terms of making those kind of saves. I think he's excellent at it, and he showed there. It was a brilliant reaction.
Liverpool will have a corner. Alexis McAllister's going to take this corner kick for Liverpool, who desperately need a goal. Dan Burn, who else with the defensive header?
And who was he marking? Van Dijk. Newcastle going with a very different option, matching up your best header of the ball with the biggest threat.
Dominic Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones, Szoboszlai, Luis Diaz, Jones. Diaz. Nice idea. Good block by Joel Linton. Liverpool corner. Good run by Robertson. Joel Linton again.
He's enjoying these tackles, isn't he? Lovely run from Robertson. Jones sees the pass as well, but he has been everywhere this afternoon. He's made about 3 or 4 of those kind of tackles, Joel Linton.
We're just past the hour mark. Liverpool are 2-0 down. McAllister, good delivery. Pope got something on it. McAllister. By Szoboszlai, and it fell to Nunez and he couldn't control it. Came to him very, very quickly.
Wow, I think it's Burn that heads the initial ball. He jumps up really high with the challenge. Van Dijk's in there, Kwanzaa's in there, falls at the feet of Nunez, and I have to say he's got a little bit of time to maybe just cushion this. Ball really does bounce off his foot. He doesn't get any control on it at all.
Well, he looks like a man who is considering further substitutions as Joel Linton finds Fabian Schär. Trippier. No foul. Bruno Guimaraes, outrageous little drag back, but Van Dijk was there. Oh, McAllister, it deflects trouble. Isak for Tonali, Kwanzaa in the way for Liverpool. It's Bruno Guimaraes. And Barnes and Isak, and pushed out by Kelleher, who keeps Liverpool in this final, because at 3-0, you'd imagine it would have been done and dusted. That's Fabian Schär, and that's wide.
Well, that would have been some goal from Fabian Schär if that goes in. I mean, what a piece of play. Newcastle, midfield battle, they've been first to every ball. No different in this scrap, they win it. Brilliant play to the back post. Isak for once just can't quite find the finish. I think Barnes does brilliantly just to try and cushion that. It is a difficult height for Isak, in fairness. It's a little bit awkward, it's kind of in between, and it's a little bit behind him. It's a difficult finish. But Newcastle, the way they've got after the ball, they've won everything in the middle of the park. Tonali's pressure initially to win it was just super.
Kevin Kelleher for Liverpool. Trippier. Joe Linton is down here for Newcastle.
I think Isak's gone to the floor as well.
Isak as well, yeah. Well, Joe Linton's been absolutely brilliant for Newcastle today, and Isak took his chance superbly to make it 2.
The one thing you can't say about Newcastle is that they haven't left it out there. They really have, in fairness to them. You know, they didn't do that 2 years ago and went away with the worst kind of feeling that you didn't give the account of yourself that you know you can. Well, regardless of what this result is, Liverpool could come back into this game and it go to extra time, but Newcastle know they've given a great account of themselves. And here's the first one. Look at that for a header. What a bullet header that is from Dan Burn. And there's the second. Cross again into the box. Liverpool just couldn't deal with it.
Well, there are around about 40-odd thousand Newcastle fans who would love to be sprinting around like Jacob Murphy. Today's attendance actually just a tad over 88,500 at Wembley. Generations of Newcastle fans have waited for their side to win a trophy. Is this the day? More changes coming. Alexis McAllister is going off and Cody Gakpo is coming on. On comes Gakpo, 5 goals in this season's Carabao Cup. He is the competition's top scorer. They would dearly love him to make it 6 as soon as possible. Liverpool need a goal soon. Joe Linton is still off the pitch. As is Isak. Newcastle only have 9 out there at the moment. And they might break. Dan Burn is making a run to the left of Sandro Tonali. They've only got 8 outfield players and about 6 of them flying forward. Joe Linton couldn't quite reach it. Well, fair play.
Well, fair play to Dan Burn. He's having the time of his life. He's on the overlap now from the centre-back position. He seizes the opportunity. Newcastle think if we make this 3, we really have got it in our clutches, and they just overload. The pass to Joe Linton's a little bit heavy.
It looks like a foul, and it is. Szoboszlai on Bruno Guimaraes. We are 3/4 of the way through the 90 minutes. Newcastle have a 2-goal advantage. I bet his heart rate is high. Headed on by Fabian Schär. Gravenberg, and he put it straight back into him, and here's Harvey Barnes, and it didn't quite come to Schär. Van Dijk was there. Newcastle looked like scoring almost all the time. Here's Murphy. Liverpool give it away. Went for precision and just put it wide. Well, Liverpool could easily be more than 2 down.
I mean, it's just so easy with the way that Newcastle are getting into these positions. There's a sloppy pass in. across the pitch from the midfield there that leads to the chance, but the earlier one, brilliantly read from Van Dijk, he just smelt the danger.
Salah for Diaz, Diaz for Jones. Virgil van Dijk. Cody Gakpo. That's Nick Popes.
I can hardly remember Salah having the ball actually and having any 1v1s or any joy in and around down the sides of the pitch at all. It's been very quiet.
Gravenberch has twisted himself into trouble. Almost from the off, Newcastle have looked the more likely side to score, and they still do. Into the last 20 minutes. Clipped by Praveen Kelleher to Curtis Jones. Joe Linton is, I would say, at the very least, a strong contender to win the Alan Hardacre Trophy for the man of the match in the EFL Cup final.
He's certainly been the best cheerleader. He is enjoying every tackle. Every time he wins the ball, he's almost punching the air and sharing that experience with the Newcastle fans, who are, I have to say, very loud themselves. They're really enjoying this at the moment.
Soboslai's challenge, free kick. I really felt this, Bruno Guimaraes.
And they've been a fraction late into the tackle most of the afternoon. I don't know if he maybe just gets a tiny piece of the ball there, Soboslai. It doesn't really matter. It's just that the momentum and the energy of the Newcastle midfield, for me, has just been exceptional, and it has been the difference in this game.
Trippier on this free kick. Tried to sneak it in behind Robertson. It's a Newcastle throw-in. Liverpool have been so far below their best today. More changes afoot. Harvey Elliott is going to be coming on for Liverpool, and also Federico Chiesa, who hasn't played any football at all for Liverpool since they went out of the FA Cup at Championship Plymouth. It's a mistake by Bruno Guimaraes. Newcastle made precious few errors in this game. Darwin Núñez. Gakpo can't reach it. So here come on the slots changes. 38 is Ryan Gravenberch. He's going to be replaced by Federico Chiesa for Liverpool. Luis Diaz Day is done. Harvey Elliott will be coming on. Made a impact, of course, in Paris in the first leg of the Champions League round of 16 against Paris Saint-Germain. I hope he can do something similar here.
I mean, I have no clue what this means to the Liverpool shape, to be honest. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but
yeah,
Gravenberch has gone off, who's playing centre-back, and Elliott has come on with Chiesa. I can't picture either of those figuring in that role, whether or not they'll just slip to a 3 with Robertson and Van Dijk and Quansah. That could be the option they take, because As you mentioned, time is running out for Liverpool.
16 minutes is all they have. 2 goals is what they need. Liverpool do have a free kick. Harvey Elliott. Dominic Szoboszlai. Cody Gakpo. Szoboszlai does hit a ball cleanly. Kwanzaa. Mohamed Salah trying to get past Livramento, did really well. Liverpool corner.
Well, he hasn't got past him all game. Livramento doing his job, wants to show him the line, doesn't want to allow him inside on his left foot, and does it well.
Elliott with Liverpool's corner kick. Pope came, got something on it.
He came so early for that, Nick Pope. Great anticipation from the Newcastle keeper.
Dominic Szoboszlai, there's a clever ball in. And Livramento. Elliott. Chiesa. Good defensive handle that was. Guimaraes forward, Harvey Barnes here for Newcastle, Isak. Showed a good turn of pace, Robertson. You've got to if Isak's chasing after you.
I'm not sure if Isak was in full swing there. It just looks like he's labouring a little bit, the Newcastle front man. But you're right, Robertson really showed a good turn of pace.
It is a back three now, Liverpool. Mohamed Salah. Jarrell Kwanzaa. Gakpo, Szoboszlai, Robertson.
Defended well as a team, Newcastle. Murphy there getting the block, but all across the pitch they've been disciplined, dropped in position when needed and worked incredibly hard.
Been an outstanding team performance from Newcastle. The cross is flicked on by Chiesa, cleared away by Livramento, headed on by Trippier. Van Dijk. Cody Gakpo. Chiesa. It's a free kick. Guimaraes just caught him.
Well, we're getting right into that dangerous part of the game where Newcastle have been the best team for sure, but you just know if they switch off here, lose a little bit of concentration, and Liverpool get one back, that is going to be a nervy time from now to the end of the game. They have to stay tuned in and disciplined.
It'll be absolute agony for the Newcastle fans if Liverpool get one back. Szoboszlai's clipped ball into the penalty area, headed away by Dan Burn. Curtis Jones. It's fallen to Chiesa. Cody Gakpo. Elliott. Well run, here's Isak. Don't have it for long. Harvey Elliott for Liverpool. It's a good ball. Chiesa was just muscled out of it in the nick of time. That's really good defending by Fabian Schär.
Oh, what a pass from Harvey Elliott. He gets his body in so well. Fabian Schär just muscles Chiesa out the way.
Well, there's a look at a Trippier challenge on Virgil van Dijk here by the video assistant referee. Stuart Atwell, it has been waved away, not really enough in that.
No, Van Dijk just looking to win the penalty. Okay, Trippier has his arm around his waist, but...
Elliott's ball in, Dan Burn with another header. Mohamed Salah. Almost into the last 10 minutes. Chiesa for Elliott. There's room here, Jones hits it wildly. Well, there were so many red shirts forward. Isak's down again. I think they're going to have to take him off.
Well, it looks to be kind of cramp related with Isak, and I think you're right. He's had his lot this afternoon, and Callum Wilson will come on in his place, but he's put a real shift in. The Newcastle front man scored a brilliant goal, but also really has stretched Liverpool and created that space for the midfield when it's needed.
Scored in the round 4 victory over Chelsea. Scored in the semi-final first leg victory at Arsenal, and has scored in the final itself. One of the outstanding players of this English season. Harvey Barnes is also making way. Callum Wilson is the familiar figure coming on for Alexander Isak, and Joe Willock is going to come on for Harvey Barnes.
Well, Willock, who is a really good replacement for Barnes in that area of the field. He's got good defensive responsibility, good energy as well. It's a big moment for Newcastle, this final 10 minutes or so.
They could have gone out of this competition before Liverpool were even in it. They won a penalty shootout at the City Ground against Nottingham Forest in round 2. Liverpool didn't come into the tournament until round 3. Joe Linton, this is Willock, and Wilson is in the middle. Joe Linton, shooting chance, he's dragged it wide. But they have found creating opportunities much easier than Liverpool have today.
Yeah, they've moved the ball really well. I have to say, I asked the question of Guimaraes at the start of the game, whether or not he could stand up to the top level and show that he's a top player. Well, he's done that in this game for me. I think he's been excellent for Newcastle. Lovely little layoff there to Joe Linton.
And here's Tonali, who won that well and goes for goal. Kelleher, well, he kept it out, which is the first part of the equation, and then he clutched it at the second attempt, but he can't find a red shirt. It's Tino Livramento. See what he was trying to do, bend it far corner, it's hit Jones, it's a corner.
Oh, it's just perfect for Newcastle. And he's been gliding along the turf as well. Livramento looks really fit at the moment at this stage in the game. Getting forward. And another set play, another corner. It's perfect for Newcastle.
I'm not exactly sure how old you are, Matt Upson, but in your lifetime, Newcastle have never won a major trophy.
That is correct. I'm young enough, just about.
I wish I could say the same.
I didn't want to say that.
But it is a long, long time. It's Trippier's corner. Jones header. Willock beat Nunez to it. Flag has stayed down, Callum Wilson over the top.
They saw cup final glory there, Callum Wilson on his left foot. As long as the ball is in this area of the pitch, and Newcastle still pressing quite high, they've got 3 players high up. Harvey Elliott's made a couple of really nice, incisive passes since he's come on. They've got to have half an eye on him. He's got the ability to find that pass into the front.
Well, Liverpool don't have much time, And they don't appear to have much energy left in the tank either. Robertson. Bruno Guimaraes wins it. Curtis Jones goes to retrieve it. Cody Gakpo. It's behind Darwin Núñez. And it's a free kick to Newcastle, who are 5.5 minutes plus added time away from ending a wait which has lasted for more than 5.5 decades. If you can wait 56 years, you can wait 5 or 6 minutes. There is Anthony Gordon, how he'd love to be out there suspended today.
And I'm sure he'll enjoy the moment still, but must be devastated he hasn't been able to get on the grass today.
It's going to be a Liverpool free kick.
They've actually settled this game down really well, Newcastle. There was a feeling there that Liverpool were building momentum 5-6 minutes ago. They sat deep, but now they've kind of got out and got a little bit more on the front foot, Newcastle, not just sitting off and allowing Liverpool to have the ball, and it's really worked. The subs have made a difference. I think Willock and Callum Wilson can get after the ball a little bit more.
Chiesa, and trying to knock it beyond Murphy, has knocked it out of play. And there is a feeling of resignation about those Liverpool supporters. Jarrell Quansah with a header. Curtis Jones. Harvey Elliott. Virgil van Dijk. There's no room. Gakpo pushed away by Tonali. Szoboszlai. Jarrell Quansah. Newcastle will take that all day.
Well, that is just playing right into the hands, literally, of Nick Pope. Can his team find anything in this last few minutes?
Robertson for Liverpool. Damn burn.
So that inclusion of Dan Burn in the England squad's looking a shrewd move at the moment.
Curtis Jones. Murphy. Chiesa's done well to win that back for Liverpool. Federico Chiesa. Darwin Núñez. Dan Burn may not have got a touch on that, but Salah couldn't keep it in play. And very shortly, the fourth official, Darren England, will indicate how much added time there is going to be.
I mean, he'll be disappointed, Arno Slot. I mean, I don't think Josh Murphy can actually barely walk at the moment. His calves are pulling up with cramp.
Yeah. Longstaff is going to be coming on. Jacob Murphy makes way. Where is he going off?
Not yet.
He's still out there for the moment. Nick Pope has just been shown a yellow card for time wasting. First yellow card of the game, that.
Surely now they'll make the change.
So Murphy makes way. Emil Kraft is coming on. How long to go? That is the question troubling Newcastle United fans at the moment. But it looks like an unassailable lead. And Harvey Elliott's been unable to keep the ball in play. There are going to be 8 added minutes.
There's 8 added minutes, and really nice challenge between Van Dijk and Dan Burn. They're both competing for the ball, and Van Dijk has pretty much gone up to the centre-forward position. I mean, this is going to be throw everything at it from the Liverpool perspective and just get the ball forwards, I think, into the box.
There's Newcastle fans' faces telling you what they thought about 8. Here is Kraft, just come onto the pitch for Newcastle. Good ball into Bruno Guimaraes. Kraft with energy, and a good ball into Callum Wilson. Quansah shielding it nicely. Kelleher there. Soberslide. For Liverpool, the game is very nearly up. Bruno Guimaraes here. Well, he's been fouled by Cody Gakpo. If he doesn't get a yellow card for that, then the referee's being quite kind to him.
Well, I think Guimaraes had one eye on what he was doing there, just slowed up a little bit in front of Gakpo, waited for a bit of contact, and goes down. And any little moment to slow the game down, Newcastle will just take it. And why not? They've earned it in this game.
They absolutely have. Here goes Willock for Newcastle. Wilson in the middle, 3 in the middle. And it's behind for a goal kick, but at this stage, that's almost a win for Newcastle. It uses up some seconds. Robertson booming along toward Darwin Núñez. Dan Burn again. Harvey Elliott, Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones. Just think about that save from Pope just after Jones had come on. If that goes in, it could have been a very, very different end to the game. Gakpo with a shot. Darwin Núñez. Núñez blocked. Chiesa couldn't get a foot on it. And Joel Linton brings it away. There might have been a handball by Darwin Núñez in amongst that. Here's Elliott for Liverpool. There's a pass into Chiesa. Chiesa! And Liverpool have not scored. The flag has gone up. The flag from Nick Greenhouse says no goal. This is going to be really tight.
Wow.
Well,
that looks onside to me.
Looks onside to me, Matt. It really does.
Yeah. I mean, the flag goes up later, but it's hard from this angle because we haven't got the precise angle which VAR will have with their lines, but it's very, very hard to tell when you're not exactly along the line, but that is extremely tight.
Fabian Schär is the man who would, to the naked eye, appear to be playing Federico Chiesa onside. The Italian is pretty convinced he scored what would be only his second Liverpool goal.
I mean, Harvey Elliott does so well to win the ball back. Newcastle trying to play it, maybe overplayed a little bit when it could have gone longer. A great pass through.
It's onside. Chiesa is onside. They are now checking for any infringement in the build-up. If there is none, then Liverpool have a goal with moments to play.
I mean, I couldn't see any infringement. It looked a really clean tackle there from Harvey Elliott. Guimaraes tries to kind of pirouette on the ball and drag it away, and he wins it cleanly.
Checking what they call the APP, the attacking phase of play.
Well, it looks a good goal to me.
Well, here comes the news. Federico Chiesa has scored for Liverpool.
After review, the Liverpool number 14 is onside, and the final decision is a goal.
Liverpool 1, Newcastle 2. Chiesa's English may not be good enough to work out what the referee was saying, but he's just scored.
Yeah, I don't think he quite understood John Brooks there. It wasn't easy to decipher, but the substitute has come on and kept his cool, that has to be said. It's a really good finish with his left foot. Keeps his head down, doesn't panic. And Eddie Howe, shake of the head, he knew Newcastle were in total control, and now there's going to be an edgy few minutes.
Yeah, what we have no idea about now is how much more time there is to play. 8 added minutes were indicated. 6 have been played, but a good 2 or 3 of them with a VAR check. There could be 4 or 5 minutes still to play.
Newcastle don't need to panic. Just keep your cool, keep making the same kind of decisions you've been making all game. You've been doing it brilliantly. Is the message Eddie Howe's putting onto the pitch. Do not panic.
Well, Newcastle fans will tell you it wouldn't be Newcastle if it was straightforward. It's their throw. Gakpo trying to dig it out from Bruno Guimaraes. It's another Newcastle throw. Federico Chiesa has been booked for dissent, waving his arms in the direction of the officials as Newcastle were awarded that throw-in. Flagging again on the far side, and it's going to be a Liverpool free kick. And they've taken it. And Kevin Kelleher goes long. Dominic Szoboszlai. Van Dijk coming back to try and win it for Liverpool. It's a really good run that by Tonali, taken up by Willock. And he's won a corner, which is exactly what he wanted.
Well, it's just great decision making, and what a driving run it is from him, Tonali. Brilliant at this stage of the game, that kind of energy and drive. And the decision from Willock to then cross the ball off the Liverpool players for a corner. It's just...
Tonali's going to get a yellow card for delaying the restart. Newcastle have a corner. They have nobody inside the Liverpool penalty area. That's a Newcastle throw-in. They will keep the ball in there for as long as they can. 2 minutes might do it. Their agony may soon become ecstasy. Liverpool desperate for the ball. Tonali trying to keep it in place, done brilliantly to find Bruno Guimaraes, who couldn't win a corner. Quansah turns it away, and Andrew Robertson feeds Dominic Szoboszlai for Liverpool. Szoboszlai's forward ball to Mohamed Salah. Salah away from Joe Linton, scooped into Van Dijk, who's playing as a striker. His header falls to Joe Linton. Wilson, was he offside? Robertson might have been playing him on. Wilson is going to head for the corner flag. Szoboszlai's dispossessed him. We're in the 11th minute of added time as Chiesa plays it into Gakpo. Harvey Elliott's been poleaxed here. Joe Linton is the player.
I mean, there's a fair bit of off-the-ball contact, I think, is what's being looked at. I think as he plays the ball, the referee's looking where the ball has gone, and Joe Linton just there carries on his momentum, grabs a hold of his shirt, Harvey Elliott, and just drags him to the floor.
Well, I was going to say, will Sunday the 16th of March be the day for Newcastle after 56 years of waiting? But it could be Monday the 17th of March by the time this final finishes, the way we're going. Kevin Kelleher forward. Van Dijk with a header. Joe Linton. Newcastle United have won a trophy for the first time since 1969. 56 years of hurt end at Wembley Stadium. The Carabao Cup is won. The Geordie nation have silverware to celebrate. And the tears and the delight are merged into one. Newcastle United have done it. And they deserve it, Matt Upson.
It's just on the tip of my tongue. I cannot think of a club that deserves it more than Newcastle United. What a performance from him. Dan Burn, absolutely outstanding, but you could say it across the whole team. Kieran Trippier had a brilliant first half an hour of the game, really calmed the nerves for the team through the midfield. Joe Linton, Guimaraes, Tonali, all of them. You know, they can be guilty of coming away previously and not giving the best account of themselves, but they've done that today.
Alan Shearer celebrating. Oh, what a moment for Newcastle United. Just to put this into some kind of context, Liverpool have won 43 major honours since Newcastle last won anything. Goodness me, Eddie Howe, what has he done? He has earned a place in the folklore of Newcastle United, this famous underachieving football club have at last won a major trophy. The Carabao Cup final of 2025 finishes Liverpool 1, Newcastle 2. Well, disappointment, Matt, for Liverpool, but they were second best today.
Yep, I think very much that. Maybe a hangover from the Champions League exit midweek. They weren't their usual vibrant, aggressive self, and Newcastle, credit to them, took full advantage, and the team performance that Eddie Howe got out of his men on this occasion was just through the roof, to be honest, right from the off. There was no sticky patches in this game where I looked at Newcastle and thought, oh, they're really struggling here. They just maintained the levels, and credit to them, credit to Eddie Howe for setting his team up the way he did. And what a moment for Newcastle and United. They have deserved this trophy for sure.
Eddie Howe, really an oasis of calm amidst the delight and delirium around him. Well, there have been some incredible managers over the years at Newcastle United who have failed to do this. What Eddie Howe has done today at the age of 47 will be remembered for decades and decades and decades, and this Newcastle team will go down in North East folklore. What a performance by Joe Linton today.
Unbelievable. And you know, you could rattle through the names, but he's certainly near the top of the list. The defensive interceptions that he made coming into the box and the energy running forward, I thought this guy was brilliant. Really subtle touches at times, getting his body in the way, winning the ball. Him and Tonali and Joe Linton, you know, that midfield three stood out for me as just being the key to the game, and they didn't disappoint. All three of them turned up at their highest level today.
Well, back in 1969 when they won the Fairs Cup, they beat Hungary's Goza in a two-legged final. It's a long, long, long time ago. The vast majority of Newcastle fans here today will have no memory at all of that day. They will remember this one for a very, very long time and be able to say that they were here. They'll be playing European football next season for sure. And one of the biggest football clubs in English football will finally have silverware to show off. Not an easy route to glory. They've beaten Nottingham Forest, they've beaten Chelsea, they've beaten Arsenal, they've beaten Liverpool. Well, that was an extremely nervous last period of extra time, Matt Upson, after Chiesa's goal. My goodness me, but I guess that just is part of it. You know that pain and pleasure thing? It's part of the pleasure now. It might well not have been.
Yeah, I don't think you could ask Eddie Howe whether there was any pleasure in that goal going in. I'm sure he said no, but, you know, if that goal had come with 15 minutes to go, you'd think this is going to be really tough now for Newcastle to see it out. But I have to say the discipline they showed across the board. I mean, the two centre-backs in Byrne and Shaw were outstanding in the air. They just dominated everything. Every ball that came into the box, even when Van Dijk went up front, they were banging those headers back into midfield. And then you've got the midfield players picking up those second pieces and a lot of the scrappy stuff that really does define who wins the football match. They did better today, Newcastle, and that disappointment, that body language from Van Dijk says it all, really. It hurts. You know, they've been in that position where they've been the victors, and today they're going to have to accept the fact that they're going to get the runners-up medal.
It's been a bad week for Liverpool. Out of the Champions League, beaten in the EFL Cup final. Last season's Klopp's kindergarten found a way to beat Chelsea. Today the big guns were all there, but could not cope with Newcastle. Dan Burn, what a header it was. They're going to have to prize every last Newcastle fan out of this stadium at some point. They're not going to want to go home.
I mean, it must have been hard for Anthony Gordon, mustn't it, not to have been able to get on the pitch and be a part of it. I'm sure he feels some part of it, but there's nothing like playing. And you know, having him here with the celebrations is a big thing.
It's just occurred to me that Eddie Howe has become the first English manager to win a trophy, major trophy in English football since Harry Redknapp in 2008.
That's incredible.
Newcastle's day has come at last. It has been an extraordinarily long time, and they will savour it for an extraordinarily long time too. Well, Liverpool are heading up to receive their runners-up medal, so a moment to talk about them. It would feel, Matt Upson, as though their lead at the top of the Premier League table is sufficient for them to get over the line, but they feel like a side who are just lacking a bit of energy at the moment.
Yeah, it's a disappointing tinge, isn't it, to a season that has been hugely positive. You know, the new manager coming in, how that transition's happened. They've got a brilliant youthful squad of players with obviously some senior members, and it'll be interesting with their future as this season goes on. But the Premier League is in their hands, and you feel that, you know, this disappointment of 2 defeats in a row isn't going to affect the outcome of that.
And they trudge up those steps, led by Virgil van Dijk. No trophy lift for him today. And as always in these moments, after a final here at Wembley, one end of the stadium all but empty, and the other anything but. So disappointment for Arne Slot. I remember that Jurgen Klopp's first experience of a final English football was a defeat here to Manchester City in the Carabao Cup. And Rick Parry, the chairman of the EFL, handing out the runners-up medals to Liverpool. And the engraver is hard at work already. Newcastle's name is on the cup for the very first time. Well, there is the Alan Hardacre trophy for man of the match, and as you say, Matt, you could almost name any of them, but for his goal, for his commanding performance at the back for Newcastle, you kind of hope Dan Burn wins it. I'm not sure who's got the vote, but...
Oh, you'd like to think it was Dan Burn, wouldn't you, to be honest? I mean, to weigh in with the goal, but his defensive contribution was just superb, I have to say. I mean, he has grown in confidence, in stature. That England call-up in the week, fully justified, and I think Thomas Tuchel has been watching him closely, and I think it's a really good decision to get him involved with the national team at this stage in his career, but he's playing so well at the moment.
He's 32, Dan Burn. Until relatively late in his career, the nearest he got to playing for his hometown club, Newcastle United, was playing for Darlington as a teenager. He got his move from Brighton to Newcastle relatively late in his late 20s. In his early 30s, he's become an England squad member and now a trophy winner with Newcastle. And European football is big for Newcastle, all right. They'll enjoy that next season. Had a Champions League campaign a couple of years ago. They may qualify through their league position as well for Europe, we'll see, but UEFA Conference League guaranteed for next season. Liverpool haven't had too many bad weeks this season. This has been one for sure, but that is enough about the losers, because here come the winners. Winners 25 emblazoned on the jersey. Kieran Trippier, who lost the Champions League final, playing against Liverpool in his Tottenham days. Bruno Guimaraes, their Brazilian, will be the man who lifts the cup. Soon he's going to do something no Newcastle player has done for such a long time.
Well, no one's left early out of the Newcastle end, that is for sure.
Not always easy to find your way. Follow the smell of silver polish. There he is, the man who's masterminded it, who's engineered it. It's a burden which has weighed heavy on Newcastle managers over the years. Eddie Howe has embraced it and conquered it. Here they come, the 2025 Carabao Cup winners. Dan Burn leading the line. Nick Pope, it was a big save. He has indeed got the Alan Hardacre Trophy, Dan Burn. Well deserved. And they gather round in the spotlight on the middle tier of Wembley Stadium. Wide smiles, deep breaths. Bruno Guimaraes savouring the moment. Well, I think some of them would like Eddie Howe to come front and centre. I'm not sure he can get through. Here it comes. From 1969 to 2025, the wait is over.